We are continuing our fraction review by looking at how to multiply and divide fractions. Multiplying by a fraction. You can multiply two fractions by writing the product of the numerators over the product of the denominators. Example, multiply 1 1/2 times 3 1/2. The first step is to write each mixed number as an improper fraction. To do that, it's denominator times whole number plus the numerator. So 1 1/2 becomes 3 halves, and 3 1/2 becomes 7 halves. Then we look to see if we can cross simplify. 3 and 2 don't share any common factors, and 2 and 7 don't share any common factors, so we can't simplify. Then we're going to multiply the numerators. 3 times 7 is 21. Then we multiply the denominators. 2 times 2 is 4. So we get 21/4. We know that's an improper fraction, so we need to simplify it by dividing. So 21 divided by 4, it goes in 5 times completely, and there's 1/4 left over. So 1 1/2 times 3 1/2 is 5 1/4. M. Multiply 2 3/5 times 1 1/3. So first step, get them into improper fractions. So 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13, so we get 13/5. Then we do 1 1/3 to an improper fraction, so 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4, so we get 4/3. We cannot cross simplify at all, so we're going to multiply across. 13 times 4 is 52, 5 times 3 is 15. Now we need to get it into a mixed number, so we're going to divide 52 by 15. So it goes in 3 times with a remainder of 7, so our answer becomes 3 7/15. For n, the fractions are already in fraction form. We don't have to do anything with them. So we can just multiply across. 9 times 4 is 36. 10 times 5 is 50. Or we can cross simplify to start with. So if we look at 10 and 4, they share a common factor of 2. So we can divide each of them by 2, so it becomes 9 over 5 and 2 over 5. So then we get 2 times 9 is 18, 5 times 5 is 25. So it becomes 18/25. And if we hadn't done the cross simplifying, we would have had 36/50, and then we would have simplified at the end. As you work with bigger numbers, it is better to do the simplifying early on in the process because the numbers are smaller and easier to work with. Dividing fractions by fractions. Dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. For example, 3/5 divided by 2/3 is the same as 3/5 times 3 halves. Example, divide 2 4/5 by 3/4. So the first thing we have to do is write 2 4/5 as an improper fraction. So 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14, so we get 14/5. Then, to be able to change the division sign to multiplication, we have to do the reciprocal of the second fraction. In dividing fractions, it is always the second fraction that gets flipped upside down. So 3/4 becomes 4/3, which allows us to change the division sign to multiplication. So now we're going to multiply across. 14 times 4 is 56. 5 times 3 is 15. And we get 56/15. We know 15 will divide into that 3 times with a remainder of 11. So it becomes 3 11/15. Try it. Divide 1/2 by 4/5. So first thing we're going to do is multiply by the reciprocal of 4/5. So it becomes 1/2 times 5/4. Then all we have to do is multiply across, and we get 5/8. For b, we have 3/8 divided by 3. So the first thing we're going to do is write the divisor as an improper fraction. So it becomes 3/1. Next, we need to multiply by the reciprocal of the divisor. So we get 3/8 times 1/3. Then if we look carefully, we can cross-simplify because 3 and 3 share a common factor of 3. So we're going to divide both of those by 3, and they both become 1. So then if we multiply across, 1 times 1 is 1, 8 times 1 is 8, so we get 1/8. Divide, show all work. 4 1/5 divided by 7/8. So the first thing we need to do is get 4 1/5 into an improper fraction. So 4 times 5 is 20, plus 1 is 21, so we get 21/5. Then we're going to switch the division sign to multiplication as we do the reciprocal of the second fraction, so 7/8 becomes 8/7. Then, if we look at the cross-simplifying, 5 and 8 don't share any factors, but 21 and 7 are both divisible by 7. So 21 divided by 7 is 3, and 7 divided by 7 is 1. Then we multiply across. So 3 times 8 is 24, 5 times 1 is 5. Next, we need to turn our improper fraction into a mixed number by dividing. So it goes in 4 entire times, and then we have a remainder of 4. So our answer becomes 4 4/5. Next, we have 1 3/4 divided by 1 2/5. So we need to get both mixed numbers into improper fractions. So 1 3/4 becomes 7/4, and 1 2/5 becomes 7/5. Now, I don't get to flip the fraction yet. I have to get it into the improper fraction before I can flip it. So now we're going to have 7/4 times 5/7. Then we're going to cross simplify again because 7 and 7 can both be divided by 7. So then we multiply across and we get 5/4. 4 will go into 5 one time with 1 left over. So we get 1 1/4 as our answer. Please make sure all the work is copied down for both videos and glue all of the papers in your math notebook.